button. And
You have to put that in the fridge.
okay, Sid, please try again. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Happy New Year, and welcome to the General Board meeting for the Granada Hills North Neighborhood Council. My name is Karen Waters. I'm the Vice President of the Neighborhood Council. Oscar Jimenez, our president, will not be with us this evening, so I will be presiding over the meeting. Welcome and hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. And we are going to take roll and begin the meeting.
Before you go on, Karen, Ralph has
Yes.
his hand up.
Okay, yes, Ralph?
But he's taking
Ralph?
it down, so.
Okay, all right. All right, so we will begin with roll call. Oscar is out, Karen Waters is here, Brian Allen.
Present.
Alfredo Castillo is not here. Chris Coyle, not here. Graham Zack.
Here.
Sid Gold. Sid Gold. Thomas Hartfield.
Present.
Yeah. Raheem Kazi.
Here.
Ralph Croy. Ralph Croy.
He must be having a problem with audio.
I think so. Nathan
He's
Lee.
on twice.
Wonder what's happening with the sound. Jason Lester.
Here.
Lolly Manzo is out. Robert Moore.
Present.
Danita Pantoja.
Present.
You, Alvin Waters.
Present.
Okay. Let's see what's happening with Sid and
Ralph.
Ralph.
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, thank you.
No, I
okay.
need my picture. Huh.
Ralph Roy. And
Yes.
Sid Gold.
At the moment, yes.
Sid Gold.
Why?
Can you speak, Sid?
Keep it all if you're here.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. So we have
It's dripping all over.
Sid.
It's dripping water.
Okay. Well, he spoke earlier, so we'll count him as present. All right. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask, let's see who's visiting us today. We have Tessa Sharnowski from Supervisor Kuehl's office. Tessa, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Hi there. I'm so happy to be here. I wonder if there is somebody else who can say the Pledge of Allegiance, though.
I beg your, would you please repeat that, Tessa?
Can somebody else please say the Pledge of Allegiance? But I'm so happy to be here. Can't wait to report and meet you all.
Oh, okay, very well. All right, Christina Holland, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, Christina.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Are we saying it all together or just me?
Yes,
Yeah,
no,
everyone.
you are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if
Okay.
you would, please. Thank you.
Okay, You're
Okay.
very prepared, Karen. That looks great. Okay, I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
which stands
one nation, under
God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and
justice
justice
for
for
all.
all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and first item on our agenda is comments from CD12, LAPD, elected officials and representatives. So we will ask you to begin. Thank you for joining us again, Christina.
Sure, glad to be here.
Okay, please go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said CG12.
No, it's just for anyone who
Oh,
is a
okay.
representative. So we will
Terrific.
start with you.
Okay, then I'll just jump right in.
Okay.
Okay. Initially I wanted to talk about some rebates and water saving stats, but because of the rain last week, and today I got an email from our watershed group with an interesting stat. I don't know, I'm kind of a geek about those things. If any of you are familiar with our stormwater capture basins, such as the Tahunga Spreading Grounds. We have Tahunga Spreading Grounds. Pacoima is run by the county. And this is an opportunity for us to put this big bowl of water in the ground and collect stormwater instead of having it go out to the ocean. So with the last storm event, we collected 1,000 acre feet. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's about a foot of water in a football field, or it's equal to 495 Olympic-sized pools, which is also equal to supplying water to 4,000 homes. So I think it's great we were able to do that. We need more of that infrastructure though. And I'm currently working on a project, and I've been since pre-pandemic in the design phase. This summer we'll be breaking ground on one of the first ones, and it's the Stormwater Capture Parks Program. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but suffice it to say, the soil conditions in the East Valley, coupled with some of those spreading grounds and all our existing wells, makes it perfect to install these infiltration galleries in parks. You know, some of the rare opportunities we have for open space. And we've identified 9 parks from David Gonzalez in the north all the way down to Valley Village Park in the south. If you're interested in reading more about that, it's at our website, and I'll repeat this a couple more times. It's ladwp.com/parks. Very easy to check out. On social media, we've been promoting Save the Drop, and I thought, you know what people really want to hear is how they can apply some of these things at home. And I know before I had my smart irrigation system installed, and I was able to do it myself, by the way. I took out my old irrigation system and I rewired this new thing, and it comes equipped with a weather sensor. So as much as I knew rain was coming, 100% forecast, and everybody's telling me to shut off my sprinklers, sometimes we get busy. Do you guys get busy? You have all the best intentions in the world, and I forget. So with this device, you don't have to worry about that. And we have a rebate for it. I just moved, and so in my new place, we don't have that, and I ordered one. Not to give out the brand or anything, but it was $179 and rebates are up to $200. So it's basically free. So you can find that again at our website, ladwp.com/save, where you could also get a Nest thermometer. Rebates on that range from $75 to $150, different brands out there. And that's just basically what I wanted to give you guys a little bit of info on. You see, I had another.
Thank you, Christina. Can you email us? Do you have that information in a written form that we could share with the entire board?
I can easily write it up. Sure. If I can,
Okay.
if you don't mind, I'll do that in the morning. Should I direct
Okay.
it to you, Karen, and you could distribute, or who's the best one?
Yes, they to Oscar and to me.
Okay, will do. I'll get that to you guys tomorrow, and feel free to post it on your website.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And does anyone have any questions for Christina?
Yeah, that's for 4,000 homes for how many days?
A year.
The 4,000 homes for how many days? That the one you described a while
1
ago?
year.
1 year.
1 year. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. It's important to have some context. You know, when I first started hearing about acre feet, I had no point of reference for what that meant. So, you know, if you imagine a football field and we filled it up 1 foot of water, that's 1 acre foot.
Okay, thank you.
That's a lot of
Alvin?
water.
Yeah, hey, Christina, thank you for coming on the meeting. It's nice to see you here again and good presentation. I guess a couple of questions I have is, I guess regarding stormwater capture program, how many facilities did you say that there were currently? I heard of the one in Pacoima.
Well, there's the Tahunga Spreading Grounds. I'd have to look it up, Alvin, to be honest with you. The new project that I was talking about includes 9 different parks.
Okay, and then I guess my next question is I guess I'm wondering what things are looking like in the Owens Valley, you know, just given that we've gotten an unprecedented amount of rain and snow, which you know, we would hope would have a significant impact in the Owens Valley area. I'm not sure how much of that you could really speak on.
And I'm not sure what your question is in particular. What we do in terms of that area and getting water through the LA aqueduct, we look at snowpack, and clearly it's been dumping in the last week, and Mammoth got a lot of snow, and that's what they measure. The marker is April 1st. So we'll know on April 1st what that snowpack looks like. So it's, you know, the rain, it's filling up the reservoirs, which were already low. So it's not like they're overflowing right now. It was, you know, a crazy 24 hours of rain. But the snowpack is what we really look for in terms of that water supply. If you guys want to hear more about water supply, I'm not the expert. I could, if there was something specific that you wanted to hear about, I could get those questions answered or arrange for somebody to talk to the group at another time.
All right, thank you. And Wade Hunter?
Yeah, I just had it up for public comments under C. So if you're there, then
okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Next, okay, we'll do that next.
All right.
Thank you, Wade. Okay, and next, thank you, Christina.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. And good night. And Tessa Charnowski from Supervisor Sheila Kuehl's office. Welcome, Tessa.
Yes, thank you so much. And I am joined by 2 of my colleagues, Blake Clayton, who is our field deputy, and Myrna Gutierrez, who is our caseworker and administrative assistant. I wish you could see us, because then you would know what we look like, but you can imagine. And we are excited to be your new county representatives. Supervisor Kuehl is your new supervisor as the boundaries have changed. And we look forward to, you know, listening to your needs. We want you to call us and email us with any questions or concerns. I want to know how I can get information to you, Karen. We can look online for your email, I imagine, and send that out. But just to start, I guess I can give a couple of updates. You know, since we are the county, we focus on, you know, county related issues, and Department of Public Health is one of our departments. So obviously we're really focused on COVID-19. We know that the surge is pretty severe right now. The numbers, I think this past day was something like 22,000. But I understand that, you know, the numbers are still somewhat diluted because of the weekend lag. So according to Dr. Ferrer, the director of public health, they're anticipating, you know, around 30,000 daily cases sometime this week, which is an astronomical amount. You know, thankfully, hospitalizations, while they have gone up pretty, the spike has been pretty high. It isn't nearly as bad as it was during the last surge. I think we're close to around 2,000. at this point. But because we have vaccinations and people are getting boosted, and because this variant may not be quite as virulent, the effects on hospitalizations and death has been minimal. We should just want to say that, it is unlikely, or Dr. Ferrer is not at this point issuing any orders for closures of businesses. But a lot of, businesses and hospitals and EMTs are really affected by worker shortages because people are getting sick. One thing that is changed is general masking. There are requirements now for employers to provide for any employees who are working indoors or in close contact with the public, a high grade mask, surgical or respirator like N95 or KN95 before January 17th. There are other changes, but we're happy to send those to you and get information out to you regularly. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that I have a cool connection to your town, to Granada Hills, which is that my family years ago owned the very first house ever built in Granada Hills. It was on Kingsbury Drive. So anyway, that's my connect. We don't own it anymore, but we did. So I have a pretty cool connection to you all.
Great.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much. And we will look forward to working with you. Are there any questions for Tessa? Sid? Sid, please unmute yourself.
I guess
Sid?
not.
We'll come back. Wade, did you have a question, or is your hand just staying up for the public comment?
Staying up for the public comment. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, Tessa, we'll email you. Could you please provide us with your you'll email to kwaters@ghnNC.org?
Will do.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much and welcome. We look forward to working with you. Actually, I did have one question I just thought of. For the existing appointments that were by Supervisor Barger, will those appointments remain, or will they have to be reappointed?
For which? For what?
Like for the Sunshine Canyon landfill is one that comes to mind.
No, I think that all appointments will stay until their terms expire. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The
Very
same
good.
is true for, if funding has been allocated by one supervisor to a particular, activity, it should be, there shouldn't be a threat to that funding.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I don't see any more. Are there any more elected officials or representatives who would please raise your hand or please speak? Okay. All right, we will move on to public comment. And we have Mr. Wade Hunter would like to make a comment. Hi, Wade.
Hi there. Thank you. This is just goes to, I can't speak for everybody. I just know what I'm seeing and, on my screen. What I basically get, I'm looking 6 or 7 people on here. That's all I can see. I can't see a list of attendees. Now, it may be because in other Zoom meetings I'm in, I'm a participant and I can see this information. But, when I joined, the reason I put up my hand, I couldn't tell whether or not you had the audio. I couldn't tell if you had the video. I can't see if you can even see me. I don't know that. I know I'm seeing you, but I don't know that physically you can see me. So I have no way of monitoring what's going on. And I've complained about this before because I think under Zoom, you can do a much better presentation and not just, like I said, I can see 6 people. That's all I can see here, nothing else. And I couldn't, I'm sorry? Oh, somebody spoke, though. I thought that was Brian.
No,
anyway.
Go ahead, Wade.
But that was just my issue. If you guys could do something to improve, our experience in watching you guys do this thing and participating, it would be appreciated. Then the other thing is under City Issues Committee report, under 1, it talks about the discussion and motion that GHNNC oppose a vote on or approval of the file CF 210407, and if appropriate, substitute a resolution to be submitted per the regular order. I don't believe that meets the test for posting an agenda item. First off, I have no idea what CF 21407 is. Now, like for instance, the next one says at least oppose discussion and a motion that GHNNC oppose another one, but it says regarding the closing of Whiteman Airport. At least I know what the subject matter is. So I don't believe that I-1
Okay.
meets.
Well,
the
thank you, Wade.
requirement.
Your time is up for this comment.
Okay,
but
thank you very
Wade.
much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Karen,
Okay.
may I address his comment for clarification purposes on the Zoom
Point of
meeting?
clarification, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wade, the
Stop.
issue that you're addressing is not one in which we have control. Well, we could have control. We don't at the moment. It is a matter of the fact that we are using a Zoom product called Webinar. It has been directed to, we have been asked to do that by Dunn, and the protocols that are issued are suggested by Dunn, and we do not at this moment have control over that. It is a different type of Zoom meeting, and that's why you're having that problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Rob Wilcox, please unmute yourself. Mr. Wilcox?
Yes, hi. I'm Rob
evening.
Wilcox, and I'm running to be your Los Angeles City Controller in the upcoming elections this year. I was born and raised in Northridge, and I love this city, but sometimes I don't even recognize it. That's why I'm running for City Controller. I know the power and possibilities of that office because I served as deputy to City Controller Laura Chick for 7 years. The City Controller is the chief auditor and chief accountant of the city, the truth teller, the inspector general, the taxpayer's watchdog, putting forth roadmaps for change, asking and answering the questions, how are we doing and how can we do it better? We have some intractable problems that we're facing, including homelessness. We do not have a plan. As controller, I will provide a plan. I will provide a economic recovery plan coming out of COVID. Our small businesses have been decimated. Those that are still struggling need our help and need a plan forward. I also want to tackle the tough problems of traffic and reforming our Los Angeles Police Department, making sure that we are all safe. Please go to robforcontroller.com. You can email me at rob@robforcontroller.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. And I don't see any more public comment. Okay. All right. So that is the end of the public comment. And we have item D under the president's comments. We have a note that the February meeting of the Valley Alliance of Neighborhood Councils will have Police Chief, LAPD Police Chief Michael Moore. So as soon as we have that date, we'll get that information and that agenda out to you. And we do have them. Did everyone have an opportunity to, did everyone have an opportunity to read the minutes? Or does anyone have any questions on the minutes that were emailed? Okay, all right.
Karen, I had a moment to read them and I make a motion to approve them.
Okay, very good. May I have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, thank you, Thomas and Graham. Okay, and so any opposed? All in favor? Okay.
Is my mic working now?
Yes,
Hi, Sid, we can hear you.
Okay, my camera's not working. I have my mic to work. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay. I tried to get it on, but
I know, I heard, I couldn't communicate.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you re-sign in? Try one more time, Sid?
No, I've re-signed in here. Like,
Okay. All right. Well, we can hear you, so welcome.
okay,
Happy
thank
New
you.
Year. Okay.
Karen,
All right.
would you mark me as abstained on the minutes,
Sure.
please? Thank you.
Okay. Abstain. Okay. Okay, and then we have, well, number 3, motion to approve the reimbursement to me for the megaphone for the parade, which you all, for those who saw it, it was a great asset in the parade participation. So do we have any questions? Okay, Brian, please go ahead, take a vote.
Okay, I will take the vote on that. Just give me a second to get it up. Okay, so to vote on reimbursement, me, yes. Brian, yes. Karen?
Yes?
You may vote on it, yes. Sid? Sid Gold? I'll come back to you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Oscar is absent today. Raheem?
Yes.
Alfredo's absent. Ralph?
Yes.
Thank you. Danitza?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Chris is absent. Alvin?
Yes.
Nathan? Nathan? I'll come back to you. Graham?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Sitlali is absent. Back to Nathan. Do I see him on?
No, I think he's signing back on. So
Okay.
we'll just we'll move on and you can come back to him when he logs back in. Okay, thank you, Brian. And then number 4, there is no December 2021 MER as it will be issued today, Brian? That's
No,
correct.
it should be available tomorrow,
Or tomorrow?
which puts it past our date, so it'll be on the agenda for next month.
Okay, thank you. Oh,
There's Nathan. Are you,
okay. He's coming.
if you don't mind holding on just a second so we put this to bed?
Okay, sure.
Nathan,
Hi,
are you
Nathan.
there?
Can you?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I had to log off and log back on.
We're
I
voting
vote yes.
Okay.
We're voting on number 4, the reimbursement to Karen. Your vote?
My vote's yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Passes
Okay.
unanimously. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we have nothing under executive committee. So Brian, take it away, treasurer's report.
There is no CAG meeting. There has been no CAG meeting, and there's been no activity with the CAG, so there is really nothing to report there. There is information on EHR, and I will ask either Craig or Andrew to speak on that at the next meeting. There will be more knowledge available on that, but it would be improper for me to discuss or even present the information. So I'll ask them to do that in the next meeting.
Okay.
And as far as the budget advocates, we're still moving forward towards producing a white paper. There are most of the departments that have been interviewed, the reports have not been made yet. We're kind of struggling to get those done, but it is in process. So if anybody has any questions with regards to any budget concerns or worries on any department, you still have time to voice your opinions or your questions or try to understand what's going on. It is a difficult year. we are seeing that at one moment, we don't have a problem, and another moment we have a problem. So it's just not easy to provide any absolute information at this time. And it will be very interesting to see what recommendations, I can tell you it'll be very interesting from my perspective, what recommendations may come out. And it may be that there are some uh, rather sincere recommendations, some that may not be very much appreciated. But nonetheless, we still have time to move forward. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I know Granada Hills
Okay.
knows everything about the budget, so good. I'm glad.
Right,
I
right.
think we can move on.
Well, we see that, thank you, Brian. Well, we see that Mr. Gibson Niambora has joined us. Gibson, welcome and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. How you guys doing?
Good.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Hi, everybody. Once again, I'm Gibson Yambura. I am your neighborhood empowerment advocate. I apologize for being late a little bit. I just want to touch base. I was out for the past 2 weeks. I was a casualty. I know this is oversharing, but I know a lot of people are going through it. I definitely was a casualty of getting COVID over Christmas. So I was quarantining. That was definitely fun being quarantined during the holidays, but luckily blessed and healthy, and we are here. So just want to touch base. If there's a couple, I know there's 1 or 2 people who have not had the opportunity to complete their antivirus training. Please reach out to me. I know we had put the deadline for January 1st, but we are working with our board members to just make sure that they complete it. The intention is there's no penalty for not completing the January 1 deadline. We want to make sure that we are in accordance with the city council motion of making sure that everybody completes the anti-bias training. It's not only mandated for the neighborhood council system, but it's mandated for all city, all folks with the whole city family, city employee, volunteers, and this also qualifies neighborhood council board members. So we are just making sure that we are in line with the city council motion that mandated for the anti-bias training. If the board members who do not have access to the planning and land use training, please let me know. I definitely know that's the other thing that we are making sure that you have your training for your planning and land use. As you also are aware, the department has hired new staff members. I will be remaining as your NEA. I don't know if there will be changes that will be announced in the next few weeks as the department completes the onboarding of several more staff members. As you know, one of the directors from our department has departed as well. Mike Fong has left the department and he has moved on to the housing department. And so again, the department is consistently going through changes, but we are going to be consistent, communicative, provide assistance of training. So I will definitely go the extra mile for all my board members who need assistance. And I'm always going to be available for you. Again, my phone number has not changed. My email, as you can tell from my name on the top right corner, is gibson.nyambura@lacd.org, as well as my direct line is 818-374-9953. Again, my phone number is 818-374-9953. And I don't know if anybody has any questions for me.
Brian?
Gibson.
Yes.
I don't want to be too aggressive on this, but the fact is that the anti-bias training, which I'll be very honest about, I thought it was biased itself, and I don't believe that it deserved the respect that it was given, but it was given the respect. It was mandated, and I am very unhappy that because it was mandated that you can come in here and say there's no penalty. If it is a mandated situation, there should be and there must be, and it is implied that there is a penalty. Granada Hills North is one of the few councils that was able to field a quorum of members on December 1st. There were only 2. It was North Westwood and us. And for you to come in here and tell us that there's no penalty when we only have 3 people that haven't taken it, and one of those is our youth member, and one of them has been out of town, I'm not happy. I have to be honest with you. It is unfair to the NC system for you to say there is no penalty, and it's unfair to all the people in Granada Hills North that made it a point to do it, whether they believed in it or not. So I just needed to share that with you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen, for sharing that. My question, I'll follow up with you as a phone conversation, but I think if there's a recommendation as to reduce the sufficient as a penalty or as a sort of I'm not sure how to sort of paraphrase it best, but I think somewhere to just make sure that is something that's been mandated. We want to make sure that the penalties that we're talking about, the intent is just to make sure that everybody completes their training, but I do acknowledge your frustration with that. But I will keep following up with folks to make sure that everybody completes it.
Okay, but Gibson, it is more than a frustration. It's an honest position. When you say mandate implies something. It doesn't mean, well, if you can do it, do it. It means you must do it. And that's not being achieved. So thank you very much for your comment.
Thank you, good sir. Also want to touch base on just one more item I want to sort of follow up on. As you know, we had sent out a correspondence to all our neighborhood councils in regards to completing our physical meeting locations, that they adhere to the ADA compliance. That's something that we've been working with the Department on Disability. So I will follow up with you, Ms. Waters, and just to make sure that we all have that, get that checklist completed, as to making sure that the physical location have been sort of reviewed. We're taking this opportunity to just kind of make sure that all of our meeting NC locations are ADA accessible, and we are halfway. So I would something that we will follow up at this moment as well. But as everybody's been keeping note, the meetings are still going to remain virtual. As we still continue to move forward, and if Bunk does take any other action to differ from what the current setting, you will definitely see a correspondence or an update from me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Mr. Allen, did you ever have a question for me?
And yes, Alvin?
Alvin, sorry about that, Alvin.
That's fine. So I guess couple of questions I have. The first one is, as far as the anti-bias training, so I mean, there was an original deadline set to complete it. So, I mean, is there now a new deadline that's set? And if so, when is it? And if that deadline's not met, does that mean that whoever does not complete it not eligible to vote?
The deadline for the anti-bias training was January 1. The first deadline was actually December 1st, and it had been extended to January 1. So this is something that as an NEA, I'm following up with all my neighborhood council board members to make sure that we completed. This board is, as Mr. Allen has highlighted, that is almost complete in completing the anti-bias training. So this is something that we are working on to make sure that it's completed across the system.
Okay, and then the second question that I've been meaning to ask for a while is, so I know that there's a lot of talks about being in person.
Mm-hmm.
One of the concerns that I'm honestly going to express about meeting in person, living in a completely different political climate than we have before, where I gotta be quite honest, a lot of the meetings in person is something that I personally deal with. So I'm just wondering if there's talks about what is being done to address potential security concerns.
At the moment, Mr. Waters, I do not have a good answer to that question, but that's something I'll definitely bring forward to our team for further discussion. I think just kind of figuring out what the best course of action is. But at the moment, meetings are going to stay virtual. And as in accordance with AB 361, Bonk will be taking action every month to do an assessment and a vote as to whether we continue staying virtual or if there's a potential conversation for being in person. But I will follow up with that in terms of the conversation about security and safety. At this moment, I do not have a good answer to that question. But I will thank you for bringing that to focus.
Well, what I can add to that is at the hybrid working group that some of us participated on from the neighborhood councils, this has been addressed. And actually, Raquel Beltran did present that as with numerous other concerns about the hybrid meeting on October 18th before the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners. So it is out there, and the concerns are very valid to Brian's point and to Alvin's point. This climate, the hatred of all different types of things, makes it a security of a concern. We also understand at this time that City Council does not have in their budget, which Brian can confirm, does not have in their budget funding for security for neighborhood councils. But for all of you who have been to City Hall, it's similar to the screening at LAX where there's metal detectors and your bags are checked. So, you know, for the time being, AB 361, Gibson, is that it?
Yeah, AB 361.
Okay, so that's the current order, and so that's what we'll operate on until we are advised otherwise. And so Sid, you had your hand up?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Gibson, is it my understanding there's going to be future trainings on anti-bias? Or is this the only one? I've heard that there might be 2 further trainings. Is that true, or do you know anything about that?
Yes, there will be additional trainings that we are working with the Department of Personnel to provide to the neighborhood council system. At this moment, I don't have an answer if it's going to be required, but it's just similar to the trainings that we've had the past 6 months when it comes to the onboarding of after the neighborhood council election. We've seen the effectiveness of being consistent of providing trainings that help neighborhood council boards function. So that's something that we are continuing to look at. And we'll provide to the system, to the neighborhood council board members.
So just one follow-up, this discussion, is that in-house, or do you discuss with leaders of neighborhood councils about the purpose of these these training sessions?
We are collaborating with the Department of Personnel. It's
not collaborating, so we're neighborhood council members are not part of the collaboration and discussion.
Not at this moment.
Okay.
Okay, Raheem? Oh, Sid, yeah. I'm sorry, were you?
No, it seems strange that the neighborhood councils would not be involved in the discussion. Thank you.
Okay, Raheem?
Yeah, is there a discussion about, fading out or implementing a hybrid system for the board meetings? Is there a discussion going on in regards to that?
At this time, the discussions have sort of not continued after the implementation of AB 361. But if the discussions with NC board members do come about again, there will be a notification to the board members who participated. For example, Ms. Waters, who was part of the joint collaborative team that was helping in the discussion of creating the hybrid model.
So I'll be happy to share with the board our findings. It's on the Empower LA website, but I'll be happy. I mentioned this at the November meeting, but I'll be happy to share it with you all so you can read it at your leisure. All the information, the PowerPoint presentation is there, as well as all of the findings and the concerns that are outlined in that report. So I'll be happy to send that to everyone to review.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any more questions for Gibson? Okay, well, thank you, Gibson. Sorry, I hope you're all better now.
I am great, and I'm just blessed and grateful to be on the other side, and back to being great health, but you're just taking it easy one day at a time.
Right. And one thing I wanted to echo on Brian's point, if you could relay this to the department, we would expect consequences for those neighborhood councils who have not completed the training, because as you know, the majority of this board works, and they all, with the exception of one person who was traveling and one person who's in college, everyone has completed their training, and we dropped everything to comply and get it done on time. And then to hear people are still lagging for whatever reason. So if you could just put some sort of consequences have to be established in order, because it's not fair to us and the other neighborhood councils who completed it, but please relay that information for us.
Yes, we'll do so, and we'll definitely thank you, Ms. Waters, for that.
Thank you, sir. Okay. All right, so we are going to move on to Sid Gold. You have the floor.
No, I took my hand down. I had another question for Gibson.
I'm sorry?
I took my hand down. I had another question for Gibson, which I'll wait. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Would you like to ask it? Go ahead.
Okay, since I got the floor. Maybe
Gibson?
another, rather than penalties, how about some sort of financial reward for neighborhood councils to get things done in an appropriate fashion? Maybe there would be an incentive to do that rather than penalties. Maybe just figure out some financial reward for us.
That's something that, because the department is slowly coming back. So this week, that's something I'll definitely convey that message in our team meeting tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Sid, would you like to continue with citywide issues, please?
Oh, we're there already? Okay, first I'll ask your opinion whether my first point is valid for, I had assumed that the council file would be sufficient, but maybe it wasn't sufficient, or whether we feel that's an appropriate, I need a ruling from the chair whether we should discuss that or not, since it was brought up.
Well, for item number 1, Sid, if you could please recap it for us. I know you've mentioned it, and I just to familiarize everyone with it. I believe my own personal understanding is that the city council was trying to change the voting guidelines for neighborhood councils. Is that right?
That's correct. They want to have a consistent pattern through the city. It was raised by Councilman Monica Rodriguez. And her basis, the whereas is what the committee had problems with. She implied that the reasons people are being disenfranchised from their voting in neighborhood councils, and we have a whole list of examples. And the neighborhood council felt that the whole premise of her reason for wanting a motion at city council was flawed. And we felt the whole thing should be rewritten and represented with a more cogent and coherent process. I could read a couple of the whereases. As you know, whereases don't stick to the motion, but the whole basis of the discussion would be based on her comments, which I felt were not backed by any science or any figures, just comments about her own political beliefs about voting.
Okay. Well, would you like to read us a couple of those, Sid?
Sure. Let me, a little more light here, getting old with my eyes. Okay. As voter suppression efforts take roots across the United States, it is even more important that the city of Los Angeles reconfirm our commitment to voter rights. I think that statement is, where's her proof to that? No, that's a political statement she's making, and that's equal and consistent election throughout the neighborhood council systems, ensuring that everyone who wants to participate in the grassroots democracy is provided the same opportunity as their neighbors in other communities. So that's one of the, there's a number of whereas similar to that. They said our committee felt there's no basis for her to make those, where's her proof, where's her numbers? And so we felt it was going from a false precedent. And
so Sid, if I may ask you a question, so we have the for and the against. So this is the against. So what is the position of those who are in support of this council file?
There was no one at the meeting that had any against the or for the council file.
Well, because I'm wondering, and everyone can weigh in, I'm wondering if, some of the neighborhood councils that are maybe in other areas may have a different viewpoint. So I'm wondering.
Well, I can tell you from my meetings going to the Los Angeles neighborhood council, the LANC meeting and the bank meetings, that there's a great deal of opposition to this whole motion.
Right. Right,
And I've not heard a lot of people speak up for it.
right. You,
so-
you know, the only thing that concerns me about this is I know having attended many of those link meetings, there is a large number of the neighborhood councils, such as those from South Central Los Angeles, Watts Neighborhood Council. One of them has about 35 board members, and I don't recall ever seeing them on a link meeting to participate. So, and those are just my thoughts on it initially. Brian?
Yeah, I'll lower my hand first. In all my travels, I have never heard anybody support this position, but I want to clarify something. The motion is to evaluate it, not to actually change anything. So I want to be fair in that. However, when you look at some of the statements in it, such as disenfranchising voters, Los Angeles, which is different than 99% of the rest of the country, is inviting into the neighborhood council voting pattern even people who are illegal. It does not discriminate against people who are undocumented, as all other areas do, as does our city and state elections. You cannot vote if you're not a citizen, and you shouldn't be able to vote, in my opinion, if you're not a citizen for neighborhood councils either. But worse than that, they allow anybody to vote in the election if they can say or show that they have some interest in an area. It doesn't have to be by your address. So we are much more encompassing and open to voters than any other place that I have ever seen. So her initial premise of disenfranchising is absolutely a fraud of a statement, in my opinion, because she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Sid?
I just want to make another comment. On the history of the neighborhood councils, there was supposed to be a sort of allowing of differences in the neighborhood council, how they run things and whatever. And she's offering a motion basically make everything the same. Okay, which sort of taking away autonomy of the neighborhood based on all these false premises. I think it could be open to review, but it defeats the whole purpose of the neighborhood council system and its establishment. So.
Okay. Well, I did look at some of our neighboring neighborhood councils' community impact statements on this, my fellow board members, and our Lida Neighborhood Council against. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Sid. So we shall. Are there any more questions for Sid on this?
I see
So
something in
are there
attendees.
any?
Karen, in
I beg your
attendees,
pardon?
Wade has something to say.
I thought the public comment was only at the beginning of the meeting. So.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Yeah, Wade, we've passed the public comment phase on agenda items.
I understand that, but I just wanted to say that since I hadn't read the motion and I just did, I went and looked. Exactly what's being said here is the first thing that leaped up at me. I'm just going to say from, I'm looking at it, that darn one as a voter suppression efforts take root across the United States. That really is the reason that she's doing it. She's misinformed, but also the other thing, I just wanted to point out that in the neighborhood councils, they're developed in each area specifically to fit that area. In other words, we did it for our area. We had certain rules and regulations. Other people did it a little different. And she doesn't take that into account. So, and one size does not fit all. We know that. It just doesn't work. So I just wanted to commend the board for recognizing the two first things that I saw just looking at that motion. And and I realize and I appreciate.
Wade, you should rejoin the our neighborhood council.
Yeah, I'm having a cow because I saw our next motion in the next one, and this person is yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. We're going to move on and take a vote.
I'm gonna have to call point of order on this,
Yes.
that we've already set the expectation that public comment is at the beginning of the meeting, and these agendas are posted within 72 hours. So that provides enough ample time for all stakeholders to review agenda items.
That is correct. Thank you, Alvin. Okay,
Karen,
so is there?
Karen, another
Yes.
point of order, because I have to argue with that, because if you read it, public comment on agenda and non-agenda items, that's all it says. It does not say, as it has said in previous meetings, only to be discussed here. It does not say that. And we should allow for public comment, and I believe that it is appropriate to allow for public comment on each item, as does City Council, as does Bonk, as does everybody else that I know.
Right. Well,
I think it's
well, yes, we
improper
did what we did.
to force people to discuss whatever that is they want to discuss, and then listen to the meeting and have no voice from that on. We are disenfranchising our stakeholders by doing that.
Okay, so one thing though, and Gibson, I'm glad you're still here. According to AB 361, this actually has to be revised for future meetings, because I believe according to AB 361, we cannot, we have to revise our agendas back to the way they were before, where we have the public comment at the beginning, and then we have comment on the agenda items. I believe I read that in the new rules that NC support sent to us. Is that right?
So AB 361 is definitely emphasized really on the time slots. So the time slots to which, if it's on the agenda in terms of, hey, this is the time slot allocated for something, it's supposed to stay within that variant. I think
that's correct.
Yeah. So my best advice in this scenario would just even though it's put on the agenda like this, accommodate public comment on agenda items, just as you've always done.
Okay.
And it enables you to just make sure the stakeholders have an input, and it enables a good meeting. And then that's a point of note for correction for next board meeting.
Sure. I believe as NC support sent an email to all of the committee chairs about this. And but most of us were off for December, so I think we're all kind of a little behind on this, but we'll get it.
Not a problem, and that's why I'm here to be your NES. I'll be here throughout the meeting.
Great, wonderful. Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Brian, and Alvin. So, do we have any more questions, or shall we vote on this item? Ready to take a vote on this item?
Wade has his hand up.
No, Wade. Actually, time for Wade to lower his hand. Thank you. All right. Are there any who? So, all in favor? Sid?
Yeah, I'm here.
So please, just a brief explanation for the board. So a yes vote means what, and a no vote means what?
A yes vote is opposing this resolution. A no vote is basically opposing our position. Okay.
So no, I mean, but the position means that we will not have the neighborhood council voting system revised. Is that
Right.
what that means?
Mhm.
Okay. So a no vote means no revision.
No, a yes vote means, okay. No, we're opposing this motion. That's what the vote is. Okay. Our vote, we're voting to oppose the council file number. Let me look it up again.
Okay.
That's a yes vote. The no vote means we're against our opposition. Okay, basically. So we're not taking any position on the motion itself. Okay.
Okay, so we're just making we're going to be voting to against it or for it.
Well, when you vote against, the only stand that the committee wanted to take was against it. So if somebody after the vote, if it's voted down, then you can bring up a motion to support it or change it up in some other way.
Okay. All right. So do we have how many in favor of this motion? Do we have all in favor?
I'm in favor.
Okay, so let's do a roll call vote for this, just to make sure. Okay, Brian?
I am in favor of the motion.
Okay, thank you. Graham?
Yes.
Okay. Sid?
Yes.
Thomas?
I don't understand, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Raheem?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Ralph?
Yes,
Nathan?
Yes.
Karen, yes. Jason Lester?
Yes.
Robert Moore?
Yes.
Danitza Pantova?
Yes.
And Alvin Waters.
I'm gonna have to abstain. I need further review on the council file.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, Sid, please proceed to your next item.
Okay, let me pull it up in my computer. Went off. Give me 1 minute. I'm sorry. Good. That has to do with the Ethics Commission.
No, this is on Whiteman.
Oh,
Airport.
Whitman Airport. Okay,
Mhm.
sorry. Yeah, my computer just crashed on me. Anyways, basically, this is a motion brought to end support and close Whiteman Airport, which is in San Fernando. It's another motion brought forward by Monica Rodriguez. You know, Van Nuys Airport basically is closed now to sort of private aircraft. It's now basically a airport for charter jet flights, and the costs of flying out of Van Nuys has gone up exponentially since that. If you had a private airplane, Whiteman basically is the only civil airport in the Los Angeles area now. The one in Santa Monica is closing, and I think the one in Torrance is going to be closed. And this provides a lot of service, emergency aircraft, whatever, for fires coming to do things in Whiteman. And Monica Rodriguez, there's a group called Arleta Beautiful that feel that Whiteman is a bad influence on the area. There was a plane crash, and so that's the negative about opposing the closing of the airport. But for the safety and the quality of life in the valley, we felt as a committee that we should oppose closing Whiteman Airport, that we feel is a valuable asset to the people in the San Fernando Valley.
may I make
Thank
a
you,
comment?
Sid. Any questions? Yes, Ralph?
Yes, I would like to say that the county fire department uses that airport very much. And I think they really need to keep that going.
Thank you, Ralph. Any questions?
Actually, sorry, I can't figure out how to raise my hand all of a sudden. County Fire actually has their own facility there. It's next to, but separate from the airport. So this wouldn't affect them. However, this would affect a lot of, I mean, there's kids that scouts and whatnot that learn to fly there, other people that learn to fly there. Plane crashes do happen. Yes, there was a plane that crashed last year on approach into a neighborhood, which was pretty unfortunate. And a couple of years before that, a plane crashed taking off, and they actually crashed into the fire department grounds. But that happens at any airport that does training to private facility airports. And on top of this, it's a county owned or at least operated airport. And I don't really feel like the city's spinning their wheels, trying to close something they don't own.
Thank you, Robert. Any more comments on this one? Questions? I agree in that this airport should not be closed. I think we all as board members have received numerous complaints from the public about the current conditions at Van Nuys Airport. And the amateur pilots, it would create more air traffic for us in our area by closing that airport. And to Robert's point, we have many safety issues. We have a lot of cross traffic between the jets, the helicopters, and the amateur pilots. So I encourage a a vote in support of the opposition of this motion. Wade? Wade?
Yes, thank you. I'd like again commend the board for their position, at least from what I'm hearing, because Whiteman Airport, it's been here for years. The community's grown up around it. Everybody knew where it was. As we talk about aircraft crashing is nothing unusual in that, but it's like this person does a knee-jerk. She doesn't even think about where are you going to send it. You're going to send this to all these planes, some other place to have them crash on other people to create the toxics there. She just, let's just close it, and the fact of one aircraft, it's not a thing that happens all the time. It happens occasionally. That's no reason to turn around and say to close Whiteman. So I'd like to thank the board, for, at least from what I'm hearing at this point, that they're also opposed to closing it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Wade. All right. Are there any opposed? Are all in favor of this, of opposing this motion?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll take a quick vote just to make sure here. Brian Allen?
Yes.
Graham Zach?
Yes.
Sid Gold?
Yes.
Thomas Hartfield?
Yes.
Rahim?
Yes. Yes.
Ralph Croy?
Yes.
Karen, yes. Nathan Lee?
Yes.
Jason Lester?
Yes.
Robert Moore?
Yes.
Danitza Pantoja?
Yes.
And Alvin Waters.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, Sid, please proceed.
Okay. The committee was concerned about the various reports coming out from City Hall about corruption, bribes, things. And the committee felt that very little is being done about it. We have one councilman now going on trial for a bribe with USC. We have the manager of DWP who took a bribe from a lawyer on a case that was before him. And we have other councilmen having cash in their house, like $100,000, things like that, under investigation by the FBI. And the feeling of the committee is the city doesn't seem to be doing anything about it. We have all this corruption going on. We have billions of dollars being at risk, and people are being corrupted. And so we discussed this, and we had a number of ideas that we wanted to expand the power of the Ethics Commission to investigate. And we want to give the Ethics Commissions certain abilities to look at behavior. So we wanted that the budget would include the ability to have investigators for the Ethics Committee to investigate our elected officials. And then we wanted the Ethics Commission to have the ability to review all their bank accounts, financial statements, whatever, besides filling out the 700 form that they do, then we'd have an access. If somebody got a $50,000 bribe, where does he put the money? I don't know. Does he put it in an offshore account? Whatever, that we're talking about big bucks here. And then, so there's a number of them. We also felt that the Ethics Commission could work with the controller to look at how money is being spent and allocated to see if there's any trends that would uncover corruption and how money is allocated in the city. And okay. And to establish a hotline for people who become aware of corruption that also would be run by the Ethics Commission. And it would also be involved with anyone who's working as a lobbyist or has a financial interest that would have to also be make available any sort of financial agreements. And we wanted Councilman Lee to introduce this as a motion. We have no ability to introduce a motion, but if we pass it as a board, we send them a list of our recommendations. You may accept it, not accept it, whatever. And I think someone has to go on record to say, we're tired of what's going on with all this corruption at City Hall. And I think from the bottom up, it bothers me. I used to be on the DWP committee, and I was oblivious that all this is going on, that the manager of the department is getting money from a lawyer who has a case before, things like that. It's just, there has to be more people looking out for what's going on. That was the feeling of the committee. And we try to come up with what we felt were reasonable concepts to try to uproot the corruption at City Hall.
Excellent presentation, Sid. My question is about a concern I'm not sure everyone on the board is aware of, that City Council oversees the Ethics Commission. So is it better to make a request? I don't know if we can do this, so I'm just putting this out here. Can we request for the jurisdiction, for the City Council not to have jurisdiction over the Ethics Commission?
You could do that as an amendment, add it as an amendment.
Because the reason why I'm asking, you and I discussed this in 2020, you probably don't remember, but what happened, my fellow board members, I happened to hear a discussion, reporters were discussing, how can we get past this when the Ethics Commission, the City Council oversees the Ethics Commission. So it would be better to remove the Ethics Commission from the jurisdiction of the City Council entirely, to as did investigations for LAPD, which are now handled by our state attorney general. For your thoughts, should we add an amendment to this to just have it removed, have the Ethics Commission under the have the overseer as the state attorney general, which there's no conflict, because apparently they didn't say who it was, of course. There was a particular investigation about an issue, and they were told not to continue with that issue. And of course, they didn't name names again, but there is a conflict here because the Ethics Commission is overseen by the City Council. So for your thoughts.
I think it's a good idea. I think you should add it as an amendment.
Okay.
That the Ethics Commission be placed under the jurisdiction of the State Attorney General.
Okay.
Simple.
All right.
I have no problem with that. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, so then we would say to add, so we're going to enter, so we're going to request a file. How would you like that done, Sid? Request a file be open to
the council file to, and all these recommendations would be in that council file.
Okay, all right. So
one of the recommendations would be the Ethics Commission jurisdiction will be placed under the Attorney General of the state.
Okay.
I have no objection to that.
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right, so we'll take a vote on, does anyone have any other questions for Sid on this one? Brian?
Got muted.
And then Ralph. Brian, you're muted.
I have, for discussion purposes only here, a comment. I have been on the Ethics Commission review with the budget advocates on a number of years, and they have very cautiously admitted that from time to time their hands are tied because they are told or delayed in their ability to perform their job. They're not willing to come out and state out front that anybody is hampering them, but they are letting us know that sometimes they cannot do their job. And so I absolutely support your amendment, Karen, because it is the one issue that hampers them, and it would be a brilliant move forward.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Ralph?
Yes, I would support the Ethics Commission doing that, but we should really vote on that as an amendment to these things.
Yes, correct. So we will first vote to amend the motion to include.
Robert
we
has a
are-
question. Robert?
No, I don't have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So Ralph, do you have another question?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So you're offering an amendment by addition. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So then we will first all we're voting on amending the motion, and then we'll vote on the
Entire
added
motion.
amendment to the motion.
Right.
Okay. So we will start with Ryan Allen. Ryan, you're muted. Ryan.
I'm not doing it. Okay, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Karen, yes. Graham,
Yes.
okay. Sid? Sid? Sid, unmute yourself, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thomas?
Yes.
Rahim?
Unmute.
Ralph? Rahim, did you say yes?
Yes. I
Oh,
say
you're
yes.
muted. You're muted. Unmute.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, and Ralph, yes. And Nathan Lee?
I vote yes.
Okay, Jason Lester?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Denitza?
Yes.
Alvin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And now we will vote on the amended addition to this a request for council file to include the Ethics Commission be reassigned under the California State Attorney General. Ryan,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sid,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Rahim,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Karen, Jason, Nathan,
Yes.
okay, Jason,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Denitza,
Yes.
Alvin.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank you,
Sid,
Rex.
will you be writing that letter, or do you need assistance with that?
I could use some assistance, but wouldn't
Of
mind
course.
that.
Okay, I'll be happy to help you.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
all right.
appreciate all the help I could get. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, outreach and publicity report. The only thing that I have to share is really just two things. If you need to get a
All right.
COVID-19 test, there are some places, if you happen to be exposed to someone or think you were. I actually, my grandson and I went to Universal City Walk, and we were out in an hour. And it was, even with the amount of people that were there, it was a very efficient operation. Also, some of the sporting events, such as the Kings game, they had a tent there with no wait at all. So if you need a test for any reason, that's available. And then we also had, if you happen to be taking the transit, and I think this is something we could also present for citywide for another meeting, is the condition of the trains. If you don't want to drive to Staples, which is now Crypto, or SoFi, or downtown Los Angeles, the trains are in deplorable condition. So, it's something that, I think we should see on ask the citywide issues committee to address with the appropriate people who handle all of that, because that's unfair to us to have to drive far instead of using these trains, which for the purpose they were built. And I hope everyone had a great holiday, and that's it for outreach. And Nathan, you are up.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Tomorrow night, we have our Public Safety Committee meeting. It's at 6 p.m. Everyone's welcome. Just wanted to wish everyone a Happy New Year. That's all I have for tonight. See everyone tomorrow night during the committee on public safety.
Thank you, Nathan. I'll be there.
Thank you.
And Graham, West Valley Neighborhood Alliance homeless report.
There was nothing as far as I know during the holidays, so no report there. Update.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Allen, any report? You're muted again, Brian.
I don't know who's doing it, but it's not me.
Okay.
There's nothing to report at this time.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Ralph, anything from our faith-based organizations? Ralph? Okay. Hello, Ralph, are you there? Okay, no student report, and we are at item P, board member announcements. So, we'll just go in alphabetical order. Brian?
Thank you very much. I should have known. No, I don't have anything specific tonight.
Okay, thank you. And let's see, Alfredo's not here. Graham?
Happy holidays, happy new year. I hope everyone had a great holiday, and looking forward to next month. Great meeting tonight. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And Sid?
Nothing to report. I'm just want to thank the board for working with the committee trying to get something done in the city. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Sid. Thomas?
Nothing additional to report. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, Thomas. Happy New Year. Raheem?
You're muted.
Unmute yourself, Raheem. There you go.
Okay. Happy and healthy 2022 for everyone. And just a question about, I thought we had that shredding on 19th of January around that time. So any further update on that?
Yes, we actually will be making an announcement on that. The outreach will be discussing it, and we will announce that at our next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
We have something fun planned, but we have to discuss it as a committee first.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raheem. And Ralph, congratulations on completing your all your training.
I had a lot of help from
Gibson is your hero, I understand.
yes, there were some things that had to change for me. But anyhow, I was wondering, for the faith-based person, is he allowed to have an assistant or any aide?
Say that again, Ralph, please.
Well, on the faith-based representative, is there a possibility of getting an assistant to solve some of the problems to help them?
You mean you need assistance, Ralph?
I would like, yes.
And well, you can, if you have a community member or maybe just someone at your church who you would need some assistance from, that I don't know if there's any board members. I mean, feel free to email Ralph if you're interested in assisting him with faith-based duties. Just let us know what you need, Ralph, depending on what it is and the availability. We'll see how we can help you.
I'll get with you on that then. Okay.
Okay. And let's see, moving on to Nathan Lee.
Nothing further to add, but I wanted to congratulate the board and Madam Chairman on running a very efficient meeting tonight. I have it at 7:53 p.m. and that's pretty very efficient. So congratulations to everybody.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Nathan. Jason Lester.
No
Mr.
comments. It was a quick, easy meeting. Thank you, Karen, for spearheading the whole meeting. Looks like we're wrapping at 8, so.
You're welcome, sir.
That's the record.
You're welcome, sir. Robert?
And I'm going to ruin that right now. A few things. As far as testing is concerned, if you need to get a free test through the county or the city of Los Angeles, you can go to covid19.lacounty.gov. put in your zip code and specifically what type of site there are search parameters that you can put on there to look for, and they will give you the locations that are closest to you and what their status is, whether they're walk up or appointment only, drive through type sites. I will let you all know that testing is currently maximized. We are getting hammered with testing requests from everybody as throughout the holidays. The kind of panic that gets set forth between the media and the Department of Public Health, talking about the Omicron and how, they talk about how contagious it is, how virulent, but they don't talk about the fact that it is a lesser strain, or at least it appears to be a lesser strain. And that most people are experiencing mild to moderate symptoms. And while there are, as the representative from Sheila Kuehl's office mentioned, there are a high number of infections. Hospitalizations have not really, they've gone up, but it's compared to the surge this time last year, it's insignificant. It really is. And only 8 deaths have been added to the rolls since that. And I don't even know what time frame that is from. That could be from the beginning of December, the beginning of November. I'm not even positive of what that time is from. Additionally, the hospital and EMS system, specifically in the hospitals, the emergency rooms and the emergency medical system, is being overwhelmed by 911 calls for what amounts to non-emergent complaints. We are trying to treat and release patients in their residence that don't need to go to the hospital. People are showing up to the emergency rooms to be tested. The emergency rooms, they will test you, but that's not what they're there for. And it just bogs down the system even further. So if you do come down sick, if you're experiencing mild to moderate symptoms, contact your doctor's office, stay home, self-quarantine. Regular over-the-counter flu and cold medicines do help considerably. Schedule a test through the testing system, and don't go to the emergency room unless you're experiencing emergent situations such as difficulty breathing that is not resolving, chest pain, or uncontrolled bleeding. The system, right now I've got ambulance personnel staffing emergency rooms so we can get ambulances back on the street, because the ambulance wall time is exceeding 6 and 7 hours, in some cases 12. So just wanted to make that advisement to everybody.
Earning his keep, bro.
Yeah, trying to.
So how do you that? What type?
And then one other thing, personal promotion, if you will. The Moore clan added another family member on December 13th. So I now have a new grandson. So,
oh, congratulations. Hey.
Thank you. And that's all I have.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Grandpa Robert.
Thank you.
And Danitza?
I have no comments. Just Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone has a safe New Year 2022. Thank you.
Danitza. Happy New Year. And Alvin?
Just saying Happy New Year, and just want to join the party and congratulating everyone for surviving 2021.
And I will just end it, just say thank you. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday, and let's have a happy and healthier new year. And hopefully next year, this time, we will not have to wear masks. So,
yay.
Yeah. So everyone be safe, enjoy your evening, and thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow at Nathan's meeting, if you can join.
Good night, all. Thank you.
Okay, so we are adjourned, ladies and ladies.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.